I hope you're staying well and you're doing pretty good. So, my name is Fazidi Naituriki, of course, a student in M1 2IS. I am with my team. Actually, we are supposed to be a team of four, but we kind of made the project into subsections. So, in this part, I am with Shraddha Kandewal. So, let's start. All right, so I first going to go through the design or like how the whole thing is supposed to work. So as you can see, it is a web service, of course. So the idea is to build it's like an application where a diabetes patient can log in their data and anytime, of course, that is the service they consume, they can log in the data. Um, then our section, it involves around actually creating other forms like reminders, creating reminders there, creating the caretaker or the doctor data into the existing database, and also pulling back all these details so you can actually click and get the readings. The user can get the pending reminders, and they can get notifications when so certain value readings has been reached. So how this works is our client is, in this case, we thought of using the JavaScript HTML page. It's like web kind of is our client, which sends requests like get, post to our through the control layer or through the API. Then the business logic handles the services, and of course we are using the database. In my case, we are using Postgres database with the Hibernate framework to access it and retrieve the data. All right. So the first thing that we did was to actually the first thing that we did was to actually use the design first approach. So I went ahead and created the APIs with the Swagger, and I created the reminders and the caretakers, and then I created all the necessary schemas. Then I generated the code, and we started working on putting everything together and creating the project structure and all that. So now let's look at the code using IntelliJ. So the project structure is structured like this. You can see we have the controller section, which encompasses the APIs and stuff. Actually, in the first version, I worked with the methods generated from the API. Then I had some compilers and injection problems. So what I did, I took the methods that were defined into the Swagger APIs, copied them into the custom created methods, so that it can actually ease my process. So I mean, I would have loved to continue using the project file produced by the Swagger, but I still use the methods. I copied them from there, then I put them here. So as you can see, we have the controller, we have the exceptions, and then we have the model, and of course we have the repository file. All right. So in this case, okay, I'll start with the controller. So in the controller, we have the caretaker controller. This is where which one controls when the user wants to deal with adding the caretaker or the doctor. And then we have the one for controlling the readings. Actually, I made like a copy of the database from the other team. So I mean, we had some difficulties in databases and incompatibilities and stuff. They were working with MySQL. I was working with Postgres because I use a Mac. So I had to recreate what their database looks like so that we can try to match. And then you have another one for reminders, controlling their reminders. So it's a lot of code. So we have get methods for each one of these. We have the post methods for the caretaker, and the readings. I have the delete and update methods. So if you go through the model, you can see that I declared all the variables we're going to use. Oh, of course, you can see these Spring Boot annotations. We have with Hibernate, which actually creates the columns, and in the database, you don't have to go and type the insult and all that. So you just do it with using the annotations, and then it works. You can see the controller, our Spring Boot annotation. Here you can see this is my REST controller and everything. You have the get method, get mapping, post mapping, put mapping, and delete mapping, and all these methods. All right, so I run the project. It's running already. All right, it's pretty good. And now, actually, I tested. We tested everything with Postman, because the Postman was our major client that we used to test everything. So I'll go ahead and run Postman. It's already open. I opened it. I was working on it. So if we try to get the caretakers, I have inserted into a couple of records. If we send that, we are sending we are getting these are some of the readings that I actually put in. You can see that 2 3 around 5 6 6. Okay, let's add another one. Let's say Jamie, who is relative, phone number, email. Okay, and post. You can see that we added another record, and it's added. You can get it back. Okay, status 200. Spring Boot, it's working pretty good. So for the connection with the database, you can see here in the properties file. This is where we connected to the Spring data source, and we actually connected to the PostgreSQL. It is on my computer's local. It's running. The Postgres server is running on my local machine. All right, so this is how the database is connected. All right, so let's go back to testing all the other methods. So we can also delete by ID. Let's delete, or let's get all of them. Let's get all the records that I put in. You can see we have all of our records of Jamie that we put in right now. I'll take his ID, copy the ID, backslash, copy it, and I'll use the delete there. It's deleted. So if you check again, okay, all the methods, you can see that we got rid of Jamie. So it works for all the other. Okay, let's try to get the table, the readings, the user readings. For instance, here we go, the readings. So I have previously put in some data. Let's see, get readings, what we have into my readings. So clearly you can see a couple of readings like which has the date, the sugar level, the insulin level, the session and time, and the comment. So we have like around 4 records now. So this is it. So we can add another record. So I didn't necessarily put a delete method to delete any of these records because I think the user wants to keep them. Oui. 5 minutes. And so this is how it works. We can post, we can add another, let's say, let's modify this 40, something like 40 posts. The record is added. You can see all of that. Also, you can see that we have if I get all of them back, I can get them, so I can get all the readings. So this is from these readings, this is where I actually decide if I want to get a reading before 20 or above 20 or above another level to create notifications. All right. So when it comes to my client, I have actually tried to we tried to use the HTML and the JavaScript as our client. It is supposed to get us notifications here and can create reminders with this form, which gives us a form, which gives us a form here. Yeah, you put in the name of the reminder, the session and time, then you can put the description of the reminder. If it was an Android application, we could actually invoke the system to trigger these reminders, and then we send. Oh, it's not a valid field. Okay. So also you have this button for creating the caretakers. So you can create a person, you can put the name, you can choose the relationship, either a doctor, relative, or the other. Then the phone number, then the email, then the address, and then you can submit. These are all the records you can actually do. Also, we wanted to actually to view the readings. You can view the readings and view the pending orders, and the recent records could be displayed here. But unfortunately, we ran into form conversion, like HTML form conversion problems. I've been debugging this for so many days. Unfortunately, I don't have it running right now, but this is pretty much the idea. I'll get the Visual Studio for most of my HTML and JavaScript data. This is the Visual Studio for the HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So it's pretty hard. So we've been going through trying to resolve the form types issues to actually be able to send this form with this JavaScript, but hardly it's now working that well. So the client right now is really not our friend. So this is pretty much it. Thank you so much. This was actually, just to remind you, it's an extension of our bigger project we're working on as 4 people. So I think Amruta and Pratik will show you the other section. This was our section. So thank you so much, and have a good day. Thank you. Amruta can Shraddha can take it away now.